What's going on, everybody? Evan here with Evan's Detailing and Polishing. A lot of people have been asking for this video. It's on how to blend the tops of tanks and the fronts of tanks where the stacks are in real tight and you can't get at them. So honestly, for me, there's no secret in what it is that we do. Straight elbow grease. That's the best way to put it. As you can see here, this tank was sanded, and you're probably wondering why I'm going to hand polish before I sand. It's the simplest answer ever. We use Lumi. This is our heavy abrasive. We also will be using our Time to Shine aluminum polish on this. We use the Lumi to scrub all the really rough areas. It's very heavy abrasive. It does a lot of cutting and a lot of hard work. As you can see up here, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but up here I already hand blended these two sections. Now I've sanded this, and now I'm going to hand polish the area that I couldn't get into with the grinder. I know if the sander can't get in there, the grinder isn't going to be able to get in there. So I'm simply going to just hand polish all this area up here before I polish it, because once I get done polishing, I don't want to be scrubbing with a heavy abrasive down where I polish, and to keep it from getting down into that area is going to be pretty tough. So what I'm simply going to do is I'm just going to use this with a cotton terry cloth towel, and I'm going to scrub it, put a ton of elbow grease into it, and just get it blended up as best I can. And I don't care if I come down into the sanded part, because I'm going to be hitting this sanded part with a grinder here shortly. And then after I get done with the grinder, I'm going to use our Time to Shine aluminum hand polish and blend up the area where my grinder stopped into this top part. So I want to get this as shiny and as smooth as I possibly can before I polish it, because after I polish it and I hit it with the heavy abrasive, it's going to leave scratches and stuff in the surface where I polish, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to bring you in a little closer. Mind with me for a second. I'll bring you in real close so that hopefully you can see it work. And we'll scrub it, and then once we get done scrubbing it, we're going to cut it. Once we get done cutting it, we'll come through with the Time to Shine aluminum polish and bring it up to a nice high gloss. And it should all hopefully blend together, or at least not see the line where we stopped with our buffer and finished with our hand polish. So bring it in close. Alright, so like I said, we have our Lumi Amgloss, brought to you by Evans. Lumi Amgloss Evans. And I got my white towel here. You can also use the cotton terry cloth applicator pads. Those do work really well as well. Felt pads on a buffer work really good as well. I'm just going to shake this up real good, and I'm going to put a generous amount on my towel here. About like that, about the size of a 50-cent piece. And then all we're going to do is just work this in. I like to go in a bunch of different directions. So what I do is I go in circles, and then after I get my circles done and I can see it's starting to work in, then I start going in straight lines. So now I'll go straight up and down. After I go up and down, I'll go side to side. And now I'm not worried about getting down into that sanded part, because I'm going to just simply buff over that anyways. So I'm just trying to work this all in. And the sanded part is just, you can overlap it as much as you want, because you're going to cut over that with the buffer anyways. Now if I hadn't sanded and the tank was this rough, I would still hand polish this upper section ahead of time. And then after I cut, I would come back and just hit it with our Time to Shine hand polish to blend in the line from where we stopped and where we started. So now I'm going to flip to a clean side of the towel, and I'm just going to wipe it off. Now if you want to get better results, you can repeat that process one more time. Let me bring you in here. You can see where I stopped there. and then the shine's starting to poke through. I'm not looking for perfection yet. I just want to see that it's blending up, because as long as it's blending up, that means that when we go to polish it with our time to shine stuff, it's going to come out just fine. I'm just going to hit this one more time because I want it to be just a hair better. I'll use less this time because it's going to be less scrubbing. I don't need quite as much because now we're already pretty smooth. I know a lot of people that use small buffs and small buffers to get in there too. This is just our preferred method here. Usually Tyre Kavan would do this, but for video instructional purposes, I figured I would show you where I started, go back to my roots a little bit. Now we've shot this video 100 times and it never looks great on video, so I always trash it. But this time I'm going to leave it because everybody keeps asking for it, and if it doesn't look great in video, I can tell you it looks great in person here. So, alright. So, flip it one more time to a clean side. Wipe it off. Alright, go one more time. Alright, so there is how rough it is. Now there's how shiny it is. Don't mind this cloudiness area down here where the sander is, because we're going to be buffing that here shortly. So I'll bring you back in a minute. I'm going to buff this out, and then we'll hit this with some time to shine hand polish, and we'll show you what the final part looks like. See you in a little bit. Alright, so as you can tell, I cut out all that sanded section. I'll bring you in close here and show you we cut all the way up there. And I don't know if you can see this on the video where that line is where I stopped cutting. And if you can see that, then you'll also see that the section where I stopped halfway blends into the section that's up there already. So now I'm going to come through with my time to shine aluminum polish, and we're going to use our cotton terry cloth pad, and then we're going to use a cotton terry cloth towel to wipe off. Now what I do when I do this is I try not to come down into where I cut. I got to come down a little bit because I need to erase my line here, but I don't want to come down too far because anything I touch after I've polished is going to scratch in some level. No matter what you do, I don't care what polish you're using, no matter what towels you're using. And as you know, if you've watched my hand polish videos, microfiber always scratches worse than cotton terry cloth. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pad. It's used on one side and it's been a couple days, so I usually just shake it up a little bit, break it up so that it's fresh. And now it's back to a nice soft cotton again. I take my hand polish and shake it up real good, because as you know, it separates and it's real wet. Take that, flip it open, squirt it on there. A little bit goes a long way with this one. For those of you that bought it and scanned the QR code, you already know that. But now I go side to side up against that edge where I know my polish line is, and then I go in circles, and then I go up and down again like I did before, and then I finish side to side and just work it in. A little bit of elbow grease goes a long ways. And now while it's still wet, I'm going to take my clean towel and wipe it off. Just want to make sure I got all my buff marks out. Now I don't want to rub down into where I finished because I don't want to scratch, so I rub side to side. As you see how easy that came off, I didn't have to scrub this one. Nothing like the heavy abrasive one. And there you have it. Now if you look, that whole section blends together. You can't see the transition between where I stopped, where I buffed, and where I stopped. It all blends together. So I hope this answers a lot of your questions, and I hope this helps some people out. Because like I said, every time I post up a video polishing, everybody asks, how do we blend that section? Now you know. That's our exact recipe for how we do it. So I just want to thank everybody for stopping by and watching all these videos. Our views have been through the roof here lately, and I'm super grateful for all of you guys. For those of you guys that stuck around till the end here, I'll give you one last little nugget, last little golden egg. When we're doing fronts, anywhere we can get in with a small orbital and a foam pad or a felt pad. Foam pads we sell here on our website, goshineon.com/shop. The felt pads, I have a link for them on my Amazon. We haven't been able to find a place to buy them in bulk yet. We are working on that. But the Lumi on an orbital, either an 18mm throw or a 15mm throw, with those pads on, will work really well on the front. It will also work really well with our Time to Shine aluminum polish for blending those sections up as well. So for any section that's really tight that you need to get into, as long as you get an orbital in there, like a little jitter buffer, any of that kind of stuff with some hand polish will work really well. But any of the sections where it's really tight in between the stacks, it's all by hand and straight elbow grease. So for those of you that stuck around, I will be putting out a video soon on how to polish underneath those valve stems. So a lot of people have been asking that as well, and we'll throw one of those videos together. Like, share, subscribe, comment below, share them to your Facebook page, your Instagram page. All that stuff helps me out, helps me keep this video program going. Thank you. Catch you next time.